And welcome to the Reece Report. I am Andrew Reece. I am very happy to be bringing you episode 4. And today we are covering a very special athlete, in my opinion. A man who became, in my opinion, the greatest of all time. That man's name is Stone Cold Steve Austin. And we watched his documentary on Sunday over the weekend, and it was a 2-hour special on E&E. We will be covering all of these shows, except for 2, but we'll get into that later. I would like to introduce to you my guest, the King, Brian Hussein. How can they find out where you are, how to contact you, Brian?
Drew, might I say, it is a privilege, it is an honor, and I feel very blessed, and I'm very proud of you that out of your first 4 episodes, I have been on 3 now. Okay? I'm very proud of you. I wish nothing but the best for you. I wish nothing but this success for you. But can I say, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in on the Reece Report with the one and only Andrew Reece. Normally we'd be here talking basketball with my cohort, my partner in crime, Simon Broder, a.k.a. Skip, at Dougie J's. You'll see him on Andrew Reece's baseball shows coming up soon. You can find me at King Hussein on all social media platforms right there. And you can find myself and Simon at To The Point, Instagram, Facebook, To The Point Raps on Twitter. Go check that out. And To The Point Podcast on YouTube, which is where y'all better be checking me out. But now, standing at 5'9", weighing in with the hot takes, hailing from Toronto, Ontario, the mouth of the North, the one and only Andrew Reece.
Thank you very much, Finkel. You can find me at the Reece Report on Facebook. You can find me at Mouth of the North on Twitter, and you can find me on Instagram at Ram316, RAM316. Shout out to Anthony Malfera, who I hope to have on the show in the future. But let's get into this. The man, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The man, the myth, the legend. What?
Now, we watched this whole documentary. We're not going to cover the whole documentary because I think anyone who's watching this show knows who Stone Cold Steve Austin is and knows his story and watched in the millions when he was the most popular superstar since Hulk Hogan. So I want to go into stuff that surprised me or stuff that I might not have known about him. And so we'll start off with he was very shy as a child. Now, Stone Cold Steve Austin, you wouldn't think is a shy child, but he was. And he was a straight A student. A straight A student. So smart dude. I mean, that's not as surprising. But not a beer drinker? Like, that shocked me. Hey, man. This is Texas we're talking about here. Victoria, Texas. He lived in a small town in Edna. This guy could have drank if he wanted to, okay? So that shocked me. And then to take the chance to drop out of college and try to live his dream out by eating potatoes and tuna fish and making $10 a night. I mean, wrestlers have to pay their dues, but when they're on the road,
that's raw potatoes.
Yeah, at that time period, like, wrestling was not what it is today, and you had to really pay your dues and struggle to get through. So that blew me away. Brian, you have a fact on Austin I didn't know about. Something to do with his name?
He was actually born. Wait, what was his name? What do you know him as?
I thought his name was Steve Williams, but you found out something different.
Stephen James Williams. So I did some digging. I did some research. His birth name was Stephen James Anderson.
So I did not know this, so I thought that was very interesting. They didn't mention this in the documentary. They acted like he was Steve Williams growing up. So that I found interesting as well. Now, Here's something that I want to mention. Now, everybody knows what happened in his career, but what I think was the turning point and what made me love this guy, even when he was still a heel, was the change of his theme music. When he went from that awful Ringmaster theme to what you did at the beginning of this show, which is one of the greatest themes of all time. That's what
It's
really
iconic.
got me into this guy and made me pay attention more than anything else. So they didn't mention it in the documentary, but when WWE was at its lowest and this guy exploded onto the scene, that theme is what really made me get pumped up to see him and go crazy for him and be the first guy I've ever paid to go see at a wrestling event and pay for merchandise and stuff. So that sort of blew me away.
Interesting.
Yes. Now, you wanted to get into something, Brian, later on in his career.
Actually, before he exploded onto the scene, can I just say a funny joke here?
Yeah.
You might laugh here. He had a bunch of names when Vince McMahon let him pick his gimmick before Stone Cold. The names that were chosen for him from
Just
the writers.
for those who don't know, this was after the Ringmaster failed miserably. Yep. Go ahead.
And he's in his words, well, yeah, you guys are writers. You guys can go ahead and write. Otto von Ruthless.
These are so bad.
Ice Dagger. Fang McFrost. Okay, here's where it gets really funny now. Chili McFreeze. That sounds like something I'd get at a Dairy Queen. Okay, and that is the one that kills me. But his ex-wife, Jeannie, named him, which I thought was absolutely amazing.
Yes. Stone Cold. After giving him tea that he wouldn't drink. I mean, but that's how things get created. They just come out of nowhere. You know, sort of like meeting a girl. You know, you don't expect it, and boom, there she is. Speaking of girls, it's not all roses when you're on the road. And Austin had a really tough time, you know, when he was at the top. He was drinking a lot.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Because like you just said, that he was on the road a lot. He was very focused on his career, very focused on what he had to do as a wrestler and what needed to be done to get to the top. Now, there were some setbacks, and the one thing that was not covered in the documentary, and I do not want to tarnish his reputation, but he was charged with a domestic dispute with his wife at the time, Deborah, and they had to settle out of court for $100,000, and they had to divorce. Mm-hmm. Now, I got to ask you, Andrew, what did you see in that documentary? Not just because of that, but because of him trying to ascend to that next level. How did it affect his life?
Well, Deborah was on the road with him, so that was obvious when he was a heel, when he turned heel for some stupid reason. But he had 2 daughters, and I didn't know this. I didn't know that he had 2 daughters during this time. And he never saw them. He was always on the road, and he talked about how difficult that was because he was so focused on, you know, mastering his craft and staying at the top. And he never saw his daughters, and they ended up going to England. And you know, when you're in England and you're in the States all the time, you're never going to see your daughters. So I thought that was incredibly heartbreaking. And the fact that he still doesn't have a relationship with them is that was striking to me. I didn't realize that at the time. And then, you know, when you're on the road like that, you don't have a lot of time to think, and you're just like, you're going 100 miles an hour. And this is, you know, what leads to guys drinking and guys taking drugs and really going, burning at the candle at both ends. And Austin certainly had his drinking problems outside of the beer he drank, you know, for his character. This guy was on a lot of alcohol, and he was in a lot of pain. So I'm glad now that he came out of it alive and relatively healthy, and not, you know, in a wheelchair like some other wrestlers that we know of. So that was quite interesting to me, hearing about that, and you know, heartbreaking, because you look at that guy and he's your hero, and you think, oh my God, he's the greatest thing that's ever happened, and you don't realize what's going on in his personal life. So I thought that was interesting. And when he retired, and like most wrestlers, he didn't know what to do. He was lost, and he kept drinking, and he went into a deep depression, and thankfully he got into some movies, and then he did something that I dare say he might do better than someone I know.
Who?
Now, I call this guy the king, and I love him, and I'm glad he comes on my show, but I'm sorry, bud, but when it comes to Stone Cold and you, I got to take Stone Cold when it comes to being a great host and an interviewer, buddy. I'm sorry.
I'll
What do you
take
have to
Stone
say
Cold
about
on
that?
that too. I'll take Stone Cold on that too before me.
I
But you
mean,
know
he's
what?
great.
Dude, when I watched that biography and I saw his tenacity and his work ethic, like myself being a host slash interviewer, talking to people, and the way he turned it around, it was I felt it. I related to him on that note. Like it was I've never like Stone Cold is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Okay. But when I saw what he did, it really hit home. Like
Yeah.
I almost shed a tear because
Yeah.
I feel that's how I'm going with my life after the alcohol and the depression that I've had to go through,
Yeah.
right? And the
Yeah.
loss of people in my life that
Yeah.
should be there. And I really felt it, and it felt very inspiring. And that's probably the biggest thing I took away from that documentary.
Yeah. Depression is no joke, bud. We've all gone through it. It's a really, really tough thing to go through. And for him, like, I'm just happy he's not in any pain. He said in the documentary at the end that his neck no longer bothers him. He's happily married, and he's living out his life, and he's found something that keeps him busy. And I was very happy for him at the end. And I hope that he establishes a relationship with his daughters,
I hope so too, man.
and just that it was great. Like, it was great to see at the end that he's okay now, because you don't know, like, he had that horrible neck injury and he worked through it for so many years. He had bad knees, and a lot of wrestlers, they don't turn out so good.
They don't come back.
But he was able to have a career after wrestling, and he's not in any pain anymore. So that was great to see.
Before we sign off,
Yes.
since you're the biggest Stone Cold fan that I know,
Yeah.
and a huge wrestling aficionado, do you know why Stone Cold is in the Guinness Book of World Records?
Okay, I do not know this, so you're going to have to enlighten me. I don't know this.
He is the only wrestler that is a three-time Royal Rumble champion.
Okay, that I knew.
Did you know that?
I thought I knew that, but go ahead. He's a three-time.
That's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Okay, I didn't know. Okay.
He's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah.
Like, he might be one of those little guys in a car with the hat, like, driving
Well,
around.
we'll see how long that lasts.
Okay. The other question I have for you is, who did he fight against in his first 3 pay-per-views? Again, it comes down to 3s.
Again, I know Savio Vega was one of them. That I know.
He is the guy in all 3.
Yeah, Savio Vega was his first major opponent when he became Stone Cold. So, yeah.
Okay. So, which pay-per-view did he first win the title belt?
Oh, Lord. The IC belt? I thought it was in your house, but I could be wrong.
No, the heavyweight belt.
Oh, the heavyweight belt. Wasn't it?
And you did get it correct.
WrestleMania? Wasn't it WrestleMania 17?
Yep.
Yeah, he beat Shawn Michaels. Yeah.
Oh, against The Rock. And he threw the belt. Remember the next night on Raw? He threw the belt into the water?
I thought that was the IC title, but yeah. Okay, so you got me there again. Okay.
That was the first time. That's all I got for you. That's all I got for you. You truly are a huge Stone Cold fan.
I mean,
I'm glad that you know that.
This is the one I was looking to most forward to, but we have plenty more to come, guys. I would like to thank you all for joining us. Thank you for watching. Now, I want you guys to let us know what you think, because I know a lot of people watch this documentary. I ask people to watch with me. Let us know what you think. Share some thoughts. Share our video. Give us some comments. Next week, we are going to be doing the Macho Man, Randy Savage, who is right up there with the all-time greats, and in my opinion, might be a little underrated as a superstar because he came along during the Hulk Hogan era. So we're going to be doing Macho Man next week. And please, guys, like us, subscribe to us, comment, anything you guys can give us, positive or negative. Let us know what you think. I thank you all for joining us. Brian, you know what to do.
Yes, sir. Guys, like Andrew said, it's great for you guys to watch it. This video on the Reece Report. You guys get out there. Keep supporting him. Keep Andrew Reece going. Let him know what you think. I go to his page every morning when I wake up before I get out of my bed just to go look up sporting news of all sports. He is going to cover it all for you. Continue watching him. Click subscribe. Click like. You guys know where to find myself. At King Hussein, Skip, at Dougie J's, at To The Point, The Raps, at To The Point on YouTube. But good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. And that's the bottom line because Andrew Reece said so.
Good night, guys.